So the main thing is you have to do enough for the phase you are. That's the main thing. So okay, you validated your hypothesis. You have probably a good product idea in hands. So maybe you should start building your product, but not the full product, but the minimum set of features that will deliver the value of that product.
We don't want to do everything, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, the beauty, as you mentioned, the beauty of a product development is deciding what not to do.
Exactly. Hello everyone, my name is Thiago and today I have a really special guest with me. I'm here with Joaquim Torres and I'll let him introduce himself because I think he will do it really better than me.
Okay, so I'm Joca. I'm currently head of product development here at Gympass. I've been here for 1.5 years. And prior to that, I was at Conta Azul, a ERP for small business here in Brazil, very well known. And prior to that, Locaweb, 11 years there, managing also the product development. And yeah, that's it.
I thought it would be really interesting to have Joca with you guys and with me today talking about product and the connection between product and UX, product and development, product and Agile, and stuff like that, right?
Cool. Let's go.
So let's start. And I'd like to start with a question.
Sure.
Because Joca, he has some articles that he publishes on LinkedIn, right?
That's right.
I'll put a link for several in the description here. But I think the first good question that I'd like to ask you is like, how do you see the interaction between UX designers with product managers? Or product owners, or product designers, and how should they work together? How things connect?
Sure. So a product development team is composed of engineers, product managers, and UX or product designers, and I divide them into two groups. One that is more focused on delivery, the engineers, and the other one which is more focused on discovery. Their main mission is to discover what to do, and this team is composed by product managers and the product designers or UX. And product managers tend to be more focused on the business side, the viability side, while the UX and product designers, they tend to be more focused on the user and desirability of the product. But they need to work together to discover what to do.
And that's interesting because, yeah, they have different roles, but the outputs, it's similar, right?
Exactly. Not only similar, but if you think they are a team, together with the product engineers, they deliver the product. They discover the product and then they deliver the product, so they are a unique team. And by saying that, what I always like to do with my teams, in not having separate objectives and separate targets for each of those functions, but one target for all of them, or two targets or three targets for all of them. And no matter if the target is more business oriented, or it's more UX oriented, or it's more a technical oriented type of target, but they should be the same target for the entire team.
That's really awesome.
That's very important.
Yeah, having common goals, right?
Exactly.
And usually this, when we are talking about goals, because that's really interesting. That doesn't mean that if it's something technical, like, I don't know, performance, it impacts the business as well.
Exactly.
So it isn't less important, and the product owner or the product manager should be also aware a little bit about technology, right? What do you think?
Not only aware, but responsible also. The performance impacts the business goals, because with a lower performance in terms of response rate or things like that, will impact the business results, and will impact also the user experience. So this is also something that the product designer should be concerned about. So this is the reason why it's a team objective and not a function objective. Cool.
And what do you think are the biggest challenge when you have these professionals that they are not used to work together, and now there is this agile thing or this design thinking thing or this product new way of doing things, saying, okay, now you guys should work together? What's the biggest challenge you see?
I believe the main challenge or the main obstacle is exactly what we were talking previously, is having not common goals. Is each one having their own, oh, I need to improve the usability, I need to improve the business metrics, oh, I need to improve the technical metrics, and each working on their own objectives, and they will never feel like they belong to a common team. So again, moving to what we are talking, if you set the same goals to everyone in the team, that will help a lot the sense of team and collaboration. No matter if the objective is more business oriented, more user oriented, or more technical oriented, but should be for all the constituents of the team.
Do you think that the UX designer may I don't know, eventually become a product manager?
That's not an unusual path of career move. I've seen some good product designers moving into this product management role. I even have one person some time ago at Locaweb that the product manager left the team, and then I asked the product designer, can you do a dual role, like being a full stack product discovery? I was just playing with her, but full stack, because she didn't want to move into the product manager. So you be product designer, interim product manager, and you see how it goes. And I'll continue to search for product managers. And after 1 month, she was in love with the position and the challenges, and she decided to make the career move. So it's not uncommon. This is a very common move. And not only that, not only product designers moving to product manager, but head of product design becoming head of product as well, and head of product and product design. So it's not uncommon to see that movement. And the main reason is that the two are very correlated, because they are focused on the discovery. They are needed to discover what to do. So I believe that's the reason why it's so easy to make the move.
The opposite is true as well. Product owners or product managers becoming UX designers. It is happening. I've seen a few also in France. What I see less, when you have like a tech lead that becomes a product manager or a product owner or a product designer, I think it's a biggest challenge than if it is a UX going for. Do you think that? Because
it sure is. It sure is. One thing that I see, and some product engineers, they tend to become very good product managers, but some of them get really lost when they make the move. And so this is very important. Even for product designers moving to product manager, you need to guarantee the way back, the rollback path, to guarantee that if something goes wrong, he or she decides it's not for her or for him, this new role, they are able to move back to the previous role. I remember, again from Locaweb, a person moving from engineering to product manager, and he mentioned to me sometime later that he was very confused, because he was very used to measure his productivity by the code put in production, and all of a sudden a lot of meetings and conversations and not sure if he was making progress. So it's a big change, especially for product engineers. But I know very good product engineers that make the move, and today they are very good product managers.
Well, you said something that I think is really interesting, is job security, right? Is like how the company may support the decision or the dream or I don't know, the idea of a UX or engineer become a product person, but also give the support saying, hey, if you don't like it, don't worry, you'll be able to do your old job as well.
Exactly.
So does it work here at Gympass?
Yes, we have it this year. I used to have this at Conta Azul. This is critical, because when you make a career change, you are testing new waters. You don't know what you're gonna face. So you need to have this, we've been calling it the safety net. So you can do the jump knowing that below there will be someone to pick you. So this is very important.
Nice. And how might we relate that with the work we are trying to put in production? I mean, when you are a product person or a designer, you should be always testing, right?
That's right.
And it's do you think the same concept applies also to the items on our backlog? Like, I can take this one, is a problem, I don't know how to solve it, let's try this out. And that's right. How does this work for you, this testing?
This testing is mainly the discovery team that normally carry out this type of test, doing this testing, and they need to test out things. They need to test the cheaper and fastest way possible, always, and sometimes they need to grab an engineer to help them out. But this is critical. You constantly need to be testing things. For instance, we have I can talk a little bit more about this. We have an interesting idea that we are going to test in a few weeks here at Gympass, where we believe that we have in our eligible base, millions of eligible base employees from our clients that don't want to or don't like to go to gyms, but we want them to be healthy and to be caring about their wellness. So what we are building here, and it's a prototype, we've been calling it a pilot, is we are gathering some partners, talking to them, partners that has app for workout, app for nutrition, app for meditation, mindfulness, and we intend to offer them in a special package to those employees that don't go to gyms, and see if they like it. So we are building a pilot, and we are not going the full length of building the product with everything that we envision for the product, but we are building a pilot. We are building a landing page, and we're gonna send information to the partners by hand initially, but we want to test it. We need to test it. So
that's really, and I think that's a great transition to talk about MVPs, right? And I once I see someone saying something like care to not care too much on the beginning, and exactly to do and to evaluate if the solution you guys thought for a problem is the solution, the ideal solution. Could you talk a little bit more about this MVP phase?
Sure. The important thing in the MVP is for you to know the risks, what you need to test, what are the hypotheses that are critical for you to test. So for instance, in this wellness service that we intend to offer, there are two main risks. One of them is the partners not willing to partner, and the other thing is the users not willing to subscribe. So our test, our MVP, is focused on testing those two things, only those two things. All the rest is not relevant at this moment. We understand that we're probably going to need to improve a lot the user experience, the controls, the operations of everything. But at this moment, this is not relevant. The important thing to test is, are partners willing to partner in this model that we envision? And are users willing to subscribe to this new service? So this is the main focus of the test. And this is what is important in any MVP. What you are testing, what are the hypotheses you need to test? What are the main risks of your product idea, business idea? And you need to test that. You need to build your test around that. That's the main point.
Cool. And in your opinion, I kind of know the answer, but I would like you to say it.
Sure.
I think I know, maybe I don't. How does technology get into this MVP stuff? Like how can, I don't know, the engineer or how can we use the technology in order to do that? Should we go full throttle? Should we invest heavily in technology?
Sure. Technology should be as light as possible, and ideally no technology at all. So for instance, if you are able to test your idea with a Google form, go for it. Go for it.
There's no shame on it.
Exactly. You are testing. You are not building the real thing, the product per se. So it's okay to to have an unfinished product. By the way, it's not okay. I would say it's mandatory to have an unfinished product. If you have a finished product, you probably spend too much time perfecting the product. So
I think that's also a good transition to talk about the commitment point, right? When we decide to invest heavier on the technology.
So the main thing is you have to do enough for the phase you are. That's the main thing. So okay, you validated your hypothesis. You have probably a good product idea in hands. So maybe you should start building your product, but not the full product, but the minimum set of features that will deliver the value of that product. Probably there's a lot of things that you thought about that you should implement in the product, but it doesn't make sense for you to build everything and only then launch it to the users, because that's probably going to take a lot of months. So ideally you should slice it into the smallest possible value delivery that you can deliver and work on that. And that's it.
Perfect. And that's really good. When you're talking about just enough, it's straight connected with one principle of Agile on the Agile Manifesto, that is maximize the amount of work we don't do.
Exactly.
And another thing that's really interesting about what Joca said is slicing, but slicing the value that you want to deliver or the problem you're trying to solve, and not slicing the feature, because often we see deliverables in teams or product owners or product managers slicing okay, I'm gonna first deliver the database of everything, then I'm gonna deliver the backend, then I'm gonna deliver the front end, and after I'm gonna connect everything, and by the end I'm gonna test to see if so. How what's the advice that you have, and how can we develop a little bit more the concepts about slicing the value, or slicing the problem?
Exactly what you mentioned. If you go all the way, let's design and build the database, and then design the back end, and then the APIs and the front end and everything. You're probably going to spend too much time in each phase because you want to cover all the aspects. And if you slice it through the value, you only need to be concerned about the value you are delivering. So you're probably going to build all of that, but very small pieces of all of that, already having a good vision of everything, but not implementing everything. Implementing only what's necessary to deliver that specific value. That specific value could be a search, could be a browse, could be finishing a checkout. It could be anything, but you need to deliver to define precisely what's the value that you want to deliver.
Cool. And what do you think is the advice or the advice you would give for teams to find what is valuable and to define what is the value that they are working for? How can what would be your take on that?
Yeah, it's the main task of the product manager. It's to balance between company or the software owner or the product owner objectives and the user objectives. You need to find the proper balance. There's no way around. So a lot of discussions, a lot of alignments, sometimes meetings to build this value perception together with stakeholders, with clients, with users. But it's that you need to constantly have this alignment.
Nice, thank you very much, Joca, for all these clarifying messages. It's really good, and it's really awesome to see and to hear this from a VP of product, and not from an agile coach or from a UX designer or a product owner, but somebody that is owning, between quotes, this product management process in several companies for several years. And I'd like to bring attention of you that are watching this video. There's Joca. He has a few books published, two, I think, right? The cover of one of his books is like a mountain, where we have a flag on the top, And I'd like you to talk a little bit about this cover and of course the title of the book. I'm gonna add the cover here so you can see while Joca is speaking. But if you could talk a little bit about that.
The book is I'm very creative, so the book title is Product Management, and the key things for you to improve the success rate of your product or digital product. And the idea of the cover is exactly that. It's tough to get to where you want. So it's step by step. You're climbing and you're learning and you're looking around and see what's the best path to go to the top of the mountain. But that's the main idea. I even remember you mentioned that we have this concept of the funnel, which is the other way around, and then for a funnel, gravity helps a lot. and my view is that it's au contraire. So it's a way to the top. You have to fight gravity, and you have to fight all the obstacles to get to the top of the mountain.
I think that's the best illustration when we're talking about the competition that we have between work items on the backlog, or even before it getting to the backlog. And there's something interesting on what you said, because when you have a funnel or you have just priorities, it's like intrinsically is saying we're gonna do everything.
That's right. That's right.
And the goal is to let things drop.
Exactly.
We don't want to do everything, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah. The beauty, as you mentioned, the beauty of a product development is deciding what not to do.
Exactly.
It's so important because you have even the most resourceful company in the world have limited resources, and they have to choose what they want to do. So there's no other way around, unless dropping things out and only focusing on the more important things.
Okay, the light just came up.
Yeah.
Go figure. Maybe a spirit. I don't know. Awesome. And I think we could like go towards the end of the video right now. And let's say you have the guy on the camera or the girl on the camera, behind the camera, actually it's a UX designer struggling to make this user part more realistic and more relevant on he or her reality. What would be your advice for this poor friend?
First off, make a good partnership with your product manager. This is very important because the product manager normally is connected with the business side of the company. So make a good partnership with him and convince him or her. If she or he is not convinced yet, probably he or she is, but if he's not convinced yet, the importance of the user perspective. Then bring the user to your meetings. You can do so by actually bringing the user, or by bringing it's a very known tool for UX, the persona or proto-persona or things like that. And if possible, try to bring some directors and C-levels to talk with users. We used to have at Conta Azul a very interesting ceremony with the C-level every quarter prior to the product council, where we discussed the things we wanted to do in the next quarter. We scheduled some meetings for the C-level with our clients.
Nice.
We stayed like an afternoon with 2 or 3 clients, visiting them, going to their offices and understanding their business and understanding the impact of the products into their lives. And with that in mind, they were able to go to the product council more user-centric, more user-oriented. So you can go all the way to that. But the first step is to create a good partnership with your product manager.
Nice, perfect. Thank you so much, Joca.
My pleasure.
Is there any advice you'd like to give, or something you'd like to talk that we didn't cover so far? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Okay, so I really appreciate the opportunity that Thiago gave me to talk with you. I guess the one thing that is really important in any product development team is, and this is critical because some companies making this transition from more traditional IT to a product development environment tend to be more focused on things to do and a solution, what we call solution mindset. So we need to do this and we need to do that. We need to create this new column in our database, or we need to create a new table in our database, or we need to create a new field in this form. But you as a product manager and UX designer, you need to help the organization to move into a problem mindset. What is the problem that you are trying to solve? Maybe creating that field or creating that column is one possible solution, that may be others. And you need to help the organization to make that move. So if there's one thing to ask for the product managers and UX designers out there, is to help your company to make that transition from solution mindset to problem mindset.
Perfect. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you, investing your time to speak with this audience and also with me. So I'm really happy to meet you in person.
My pleasure.
And
good to see you.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. If you want to drop some comments and feedbacks on this session, it's really good. It's the first time we're doing something like it, so sorry about anything delayed and stuff like that. And yeah, leave some comments. And is it okay to people to add you on LinkedIn?
I love to talk and discuss about product development, product management. Whenever I'm able to help them, I'm feeling really glad.
So perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
very good to see you.
The same. Really happy to do so. And for you, probably see you on the next video. Bye. And it triggered something also regarding. I forgot. Esqueci. Você falou uma parada muito legal. Just enough. Não tem que fazer tudo. Ah, oui. Yes.
Foi assessor de vez, né, cara?
Cara.